You've had the it girl routines before. You've had the new year, new me realizations before. And that is exactly why this time nobody's clapping. You feel like you're finally becoming who you're meant to be, but the people around you are just looking at their watches, waiting for the old you to come back. Think about that specific look a friend or a partner gives you when you announce a new goal. It's that polite, slightly exhausted nod that says, okay, we'll see how long this one lasts. It's painful, but it's not because they're mean. It's because of a phenomenon I call the crying wolf effect. It happens when you've attempted to reinvent yourself so many times to the world, your transformation is no longer a breakthrough. To them, it's just another episode. Today, we're going to talk about how to break the cycle of false starts and finally make our change stick. If you're new here, hi, I'm Tiffany. I first realized the high cost of this effect during my years as a teacher. In a classroom, social roles form in real time, and once a student is cast in a role, it's nearly impossible to break out. I realized then the identity change isn't about the intensity of your shift, it's about the consistency of your data. If you want to stop paying the reputation tax of your past, you have to understand why your words have lost their values and how to regain your influence. I had a student, let's call him Bill. Bill had a habit. When he got excited, he would accidentally spit when he talked. Naturally, Bill the spitter became his anchor. But Bill's real problem wasn't the spitting. It was his habit of promising to change. Every time he was teased, he would shout, I'm different now, I'm not doing it anymore. But he'd only stay different for a few hours. By the time I met him, his classmates didn't even listen to his promises. To them, Bill saying, I'm changing, is the boy crying wolf. When Bill actually started to do the work, he wasn't just fighting his physical habit. He was fighting the collective memory of all his failed attempts. He was fighting a label that had become permanent. To his peers, the new Bill was just another fake face, and they were just waiting for him to fail so they could say, see, I knew it. Most of us are exactly like Bill. We wonder why our friends or family are being unsupportive, but we have to look at our own data. If we have a history of starting things and not finishing them, we have trained the people around us to categorize our growth as noise. And here's the point that most people miss. Once you're labeled as someone who's just going through a phase, you lose your influence. The crying wolf effect means that the more times you announce a change without sustaining it, the higher the entry fee becomes for your next transformation. You aren't just fighting for a new identity. You're fighting to regain the trust you've exhausted. You're operating at a deficit. To break this, you have to stop announcing the change and start quietly accumulating data. To help you navigate this, I created a free worksheet called the Identity Audit. The link is down below. And we use these 3 steps to move past the crying wolf stage. The first one is the silence period. Stop telling people you've changed. In this stage, your action has 100% of the value. Your words have 0. You have to let your actions do the heavy lifting for a long time. In my experience, the breakthrough only happens when people notice the change and ask you about it by themselves. So until they ask, don't mention it. And when you've had the breakthrough, you get to the next stage, which is called the pain baseline. Write down exactly why you're leaving the old identity behind. Use the embarrassment of your past false starts as fuel. This serves as a reality check for when you feel like quitting. Remind yourself, if you quit this time, you're making it nearly impossible for anyone to believe you again. The cost of stopping now is higher than the cost of continuing. Use the free worksheet for this step. And when you finish the worksheet, you get to the last step, which is data overriding. This is what I call the void. It's the period where you're doing all the right things but getting no credit for them. So you treat every interaction as a data point. Your job isn't to convince them. Your job is to provide so much new, consistent data that eventually the old version of you becomes statistically irrelevant. Overriding the crying wolf effect takes more time and reps than we want it to. It's a marathon of consistency. But once you provide enough new data, the world has no choice but to believe the new version of you. Awareness and initiation are the first steps, but you'll need internal structure to stay steady when the void feels too quiet. In the next episode, we're going to look at how to build those structures so we can maintain our new identity and influence over time. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!